Hello everyone, welcome to the Elliott Wave Forex.com YouTube channel. This is Henry. Today is Wednesday, August 24. The time is around 3 a.m. GMT. Today we're going to be looking at the chart of Bitcoin. So this is a 1 hour chart. Let's take a look what we got here. We have ended with A at 25,212. Then from here we have started to go down. Now current price is 21,200. We ended what looks to be like a 5 ways down, right, with some extension here with the divergence at the lows. So it does look like a 5 ways down, but over here if we break down again, right, if let's say if we break down and break below this low and we still see a divergence like so, this still can be part of still with 5, right, assuming we break down, which is still possible. As long as the divergence here is not erased, you can still call it as an extension within wave 5. Maybe you can call this some kind of like a triangle in the wave 4, for example, right, if it breaks down. Now otherwise, because we see a divergence here, there is a possibility that maybe we can we can do further upside to correct this decline, because so far the correction looks to be still a little bit too shallow, this leg here. So we cannot rule out further upside to correct this move down from 25,200, right? So once we finish the correction, as long as we stay below 25,200, because it looks like a 5 ways down here, we could at least see one more leg down in Bitcoin for the next leg, further downside. So that's the idea. Shorter cycle is looking for the downside overall below 25,212. Any rally should fail either in 3 swings like this one. This ABC 3 swing could be also finished with the B and go down, or else we could be doing 7 swing like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to finish the B before we go down. Okay, now let's zoom out a little bit to get some ideas on the larger degree. So if I look at the 4 hour, right, so if I just copy what we see here in the 1 hour, just A here is here, this peak here, right, and then this move down looks impulsive, and that's why we're looking probably some sort of retest. Now if this is really the A, then that means technically speaking you will have a B and then potentially higher again, right, potentially ABC like this. Now let's check out in the larger time frame. Now we do have in the past we do have a chart of the day on Bitcoin as well, where we explain, if you look at it from the daily time frame, from the all-time high, this cycle from the peak to the low so far, it has not reached the ideal target, right? We got 3 swing down, but that 3 swing down has never reached the ideal 100% extension, which is 12,000. So that means so far, if you look at it from the larger time frame, it is actually, it's a lower low without reaching the 100%. So it's a bearish sequence, right? It is a bearish sequence. So as long as Bitcoin continue to stay below this trend line here, doesn't matter how much higher it will go, it's still considered to be part of the same cycle, and it still can go down to 12,000. It's very simple. So this trend line here, as long as we don't break above it, all right, the expectation is it can go down to the ideal target 12,000. All right. Now secondly, we're calling this an A right here. So this one, look at the structure of this, guys. This is very overlapping, very corrective. So those that call already bullish, if you want to call it bullish, you want to see a very credible like evidence, like a 1, a 2, and then maybe impulse like this, right? Then you will have a case. Now in here I still see a lot of overlapping 3 swing sort of rally, which is telling you, just by looking at this, most likely this is only correction, right? So therefore, now we're calling this as an A, so possible that this is some sort of diagonal, and then you got a B and then you got a C. But since the larger time frame actually is not really bullish, still missing the 100%, so technically we don't even need to do a C leg, right? This could be, now we will if you want to see a full count, you can always check our member area. The link on the trial is provided in the description of the video below, but we could be already finished with this correction here, and instead of doing another leg up later on, we could just continue to extend on the downside, right? So that's something we need to also pay attention to, especially considering the move down looks impulsive. So instead of AB, this could be, for example, with 1, this could be with 2, and then continues to go down 3, 4, 5, and eventually break below this previous low here, 17,000, back in June 17. All right, so that's the idea. So you have all the possible options and so on. Now, one thing that we could, because there are always multiple different option and path, right? Again, this is a multi-path sort of market. It's not one market, it's just not one path. And all we are doing is trying to make sense and trying to see what is the higher probability, right? Now, what we can sort of conclude at this point, probably simple. We're just going to be focusing on the shorter cycle. We're just going to say that because it has a what looks like a 5 waves with an extension on the 3rd wave with a divergence on the 5th wave, then that suggests most likely, unless this is some sort of a expanded flat, this C leg is expanded flat from here, like an ABC expanded flat, unless that's an expanded flat, which will never be our main view. We will never forecast a expanded flat as a primary view most of the time, right? So that means as long as this is not really with C of a flat, expanded flat, then most likely we should see more downside as long as we stay below 25,212. So we should be looking for some sort of an ABC minimum, right, to the downside, with another option being that this is actually 1, 2, 3, and if that's the case, we're going to break below 17,000, right? So that's the idea here, guys, and I'll see you all again next time, and have a nice day, everyone.